Greetings, all you cyberpunks and retro nerds. Welcome back to Neon Trash. Tonight we're going to be checking out the virtuoso of vigilante violence, Charles Bronson, in the Cannon-produced 10 to Midnight. This sleazy and filthy movie is probably one of the darkest and most depressing to ooze out of Cannon films. And with that being said, it happens to be one of my favorite. I haven't watched this movie in quite some time, but I have been definitely looking to review it here on Neon Trash. This is the type of film that's perfect for my channel. Low budget, sleazy, dark, violent, and everything that I could hope for in a vigilante revenge tale. You guys know this routine. Check out the trailer. Peep that shit, guys, when we get back. Y'all motherfuckers are gonna know my opinion on 10 to Midnight.
A sensational crime. An airtight alibi.
We can't lay a finger on this guy.
And a chain of evidence.
Bring him in.
Charles Bronson is a cop looking for a killer, and he's running out of time.
Go ahead, take me in. You can't punish me.
When the guilty go free,
I just found to be a free man.
the system is the crime.
I want a killer, and what I want comes first.
Well, how come I've never heard him mention a daughter?
It seldom crosses his mind that he has one.
He's one angry man with someone to protect.
Argue with your father.
Argue with that.
He can make a difference.
You like hurting girls?
I won't answer that.
Girls won't have anything to do with you, but you get back at them, don't you?
I won't listen to your filth. Look at him, Leo! Gotta remind you about evidence obtained under duress? It's inadmissible, Leo.
We got no evidence and we can't hold this kid.
He's our man, Captain. I'm gonna get him. Found some blood.
He's lying. There was no blood on my clothes, and he knows it. How do you plead, Warren?
Guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
The last thing I want to do is get involved with a cop.
Well, I don't blame you. Leo, I went back to the lab and I talked to the technician. And I asked him if you...
Why didn't you ask me?
Is that true, Lieutenant? You planted the evidence?
You know why.
We could have nailed him sooner or later.
After counting how many more dead. He had to be stopped.
After all the evidence is in, he'll reach his own verdict and execute the sentence by the deadline. When there is no justice, this man is the law. 10 to Midnight. Charles Bronson, Lisa Eilbacher, and Andrew Stevens in a Golan Globus production of a J. Lee Thompson film. 10 to Midnight.
Okay guys, I just got done watching the Charles Bronson movie 10 to Midnight, and let's get the bad out of the way. First and foremost, I feel like this movie's got moments of kind of cheesy and overacting. There's a couple of actors towards the beginning of the film that really, I don't know, they overact, and it might take the viewer out of the film, especially since the initial premise to this movie is so gritty and so realistic. What I like about this movie is it doesn't keep the killer, you know, in the shadows. You know who he is from the get-go, and you get to kind of follow him from a psychological standpoint. I would imagine back in the day when this movie came out, that was a unique angle. Another really good part about this movie is the soundtrack, the whole synthesizer score. This is the early 1980s, and to have the synthesizer and the whole rock and roll soundtrack brought to the forefront, I thought was pretty freaking awesome, and it really helps set the mood. The ending itself is not happy, you know, and I don't want to do any spoilers here, but it's one of those endings where, you know, you get what you want in terms of a happy ending. You want to see the villain get his just desserts, but at the same time, it's dark and it's a cautionary tale. So that's what I like about Cannon films is they didn't go for that whole light and bright sugar-coated stuff. In my opinion, I feel like the movie 10 to Midnight kind of bucks a lot of, you know, stereotypes. And at first, you know, the killer is labeled as some Mexican, but by the end of the film, everybody knows that the killer of this movie is about as white as can get. Charles Bronson has always been one of my absolute favorite action stars. I was raised on his movies back in the day, From the moment my dad showed me Once Upon a Time in the West, I was hooked. Let's not take too deep of a dive with this movie. 10 to Midnight is an excellent Cannon film. They've made a lot of movies that are pretty good, but this is, in my personal opinion, one of the best because it hyper-focuses on the psychological aspect of the whole crime hunt, and I like that. So, out of 10 stars, I could give the movie 10 to Midnight a solid 6.5 out of 10.